Have you ever sewed a decorative stitch and you know you have the right stabilizer for the fabric that you're using, but the decorative stitch doesn't come out correctly balanced? Hi, I'm Sarah from sewingmastery.com, and we're doing all the free video tutorials on the Husqvarna Viking Designer Epic 3. So if you want to master this machine, check out the playlist of all the free videos that we have in the description below. Plus, we have online courses that are dedicated to the Husqvarna Viking machines, and those will be amazing journeys that you can take yourself on and work at your own pace. So here's what I'm going to show you. Let's say you have stitched out this Omni Motion stitch. So you've got stitches in this machine that are 9 millimeters wide, and then some that go up to, this one is 23 millimeters wide. So the machine is moving the fabric from side to side. You notice that you're using the S foot, so that is indication that these stitches are going to move sideways. This foot is designed for that. But then you stitch it out and you realize that it doesn't look like what's on the screen. Maybe just something's a little askew, or it's just not lining up where it's supposed to. So down here in the corner is something called balance. And as you select balance, you're going to be taken to a screen with the decorative stitch that you actually are on. Now, here at the bottom it says, adjust the preview on screen to match your sewn sample. So what it's asking you to do is show the machine what the problem is. So most of the time, if you're using just a 9 millimeter wide stitch, length will be your option. And as I push, say, for example, the minus sign, you can see that the stitch is kind of morphing one direction. Let's go the other way. I'm going to take it back to where we started at 0.0, and I'm going to plus it this time. So see how the stitches are kind of getting mushed together. Now that would be a lot of unbalancing that the machine is currently stitching. But let's say that it kind of looked a little too squished together. So what you do is you make the picture on the screen match what your fabric is showing. And then when you touch the check mark at the top corner, the machine will adjust the feeding to make it then come out as it's supposed to. Now let's go back in there one more time, because not only can we adjust the length, but on this one we can adjust the width. So see how from the side you can actually adjust it. Maybe it's a little skewed one way or the other. So same thing you can use and just kind of get everything back to where it is. So speaking of getting it back to where it is, I'm going to put this back to 0.0, and on this one the same thing. I'll just get it back to normal. Of course, turning off your machine and turning it back on will also clear out those settings. So it's not like you're doing this to all the stitches in your machine. You're just doing it to the one stitch that you're currently on. Now, let's talk that your machine might be slightly unbalanced. So every time you pick a stitch, you are getting that same result. So what you actually need to do is just have your machine serviced, and your local Husqvarna Viking technician will put the machine back into proper balance mode. So the feeding of the feed dogs front and back, and like this one, little side to side, all have like a reset point. So somewhere over time that can get off, and that is just something that is corrected and serviced when you have your machine cleaned on an annual basis. So if you haven't had your machine cleaned recently, or this is part of the things that they do, is they check out the forward and reverse feeding of the machine and kind of reset it for you. So in a pinch, this will work, but if you're finding you're doing it on all the stitches, it's probably time to just have it professionally serviced, and then everything will be back to normal. I have used this balancing function when I'm working on fabrics like corduroy or something with a nap, and so the stitches are just going to have a hard time kind of connecting where they're supposed to, just because of the unevenness of the fabric. So this is the way you can correct it based on the fabric you're using or the unique situation that you're sewing on. But if it's happening on all the stitches, you know it's actually more of an internal adjustment that can be easily fixed. I hope you'll check out all of our online courses. Plus, right here at the end of this video, there's a link to the playlist that you can start watching from the beginning. I hope this helps you master this beautiful Husqvarna Viking Designer Epic 3.